We'll call the meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. I want to acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, and the land on which we are meeting is the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. As a council and a municipality, we will continue to work on moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. I'll ask for a motion for the adoption of the minutes, please.
Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held at City Hall on January 27th, 2025 be adopted as circulated.
Moved by Councillor Doyle, seconded by Councillor Nichols. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. We have one delegation this evening from the Islamic Association of Portage, Inc. We'll just ask for Jamila Bachiri to come to the podium. There you go. Yeah, we'll just start the mic here for you. And you just have to make sure that you're speaking into the mic because we are live on YouTube and television. So,
You didn't tell me that.
yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having us today and presenting and sharing our thought and our project with you guys. And really, we've been through a lot of steps, and thank you so much. So we are going really forward, and we appreciate it. For today, so we are giving just as a quick summary what we are planning to do, and just give some example of what's happening and how we can proceed. So, how does this one work? Okay, yes. So, as a kind of activities that we would like to achieve in our, it's more like a cultural center focused in for the Muslim community in Portage la Prairie, and we have quite families that will be benefiting from our programs that we will be offering and in integration with the local community. So we will be having kids, youth, and adult program in learning, leadership, socializing, multicultural knowledge. We would like to bring a platform where everybody can have a sense or a taste of what multicultural. So we are coming from somewhere else, but we would like to have it in-house. So I said we would like to have it in-house and affordable and accessible to all community. No matter, no, it's not just Muslim, but no Muslim too will have access to it and take benefit of it. If you are talking about a leadership, how to be a good leader, how to give back to the community is not something that just Muslim will need it, no Muslim and any one ethnic group will need it, because we have to build strong community, and that start with those kind of activities. And we would like to have a free food Friday. So it comes to a triple F because Friday, it's a kind of a special day for us. It has a special prayers and it has a special ceremony, and as our culture from Morocco, so it's a couscous day. So if you, around the world, if you go Friday, you will find a couscous dish in a Moroccan table. So, and we would like to have that Free Food Friday as a weekly event where the homelessness and the people that are in need, they can drop in and have that warm and really a meal to have or take home. So we don't have the logistic yet, how does it work? But we have a plan for it to have it kind of one of our pillars to get really involved within our community and have kind of strong relationships. And also we like to have some senior gathering. Seniors are kind of our pillars also. We don't just deal with kids, we like to have seniors having a quiet place where to share and tell their stories, do something different. We will be offering daily prayer. So that's one thing that we would like to have. We are lacking right now. We cannot have prayers. You cannot just go and do your prayer, etc. We are lacking this place will offer that small corner for that community to perform those prayers. And also we will be having some volunteering within the community event when is needed. So we are here. If there is something that community is needing from us to participate, to bring to the table, we are here, we are offering. So it's not, it, we are community minded. That's the thing that we are focusing on. And we will have a special library where you will find kind of some rare books, not just about religion, about kind of aspect leadership, which will be fulfilling the program we are will be organizing, like teaching. Everybody, like you wanna learn Spanish, you wanna learn Portuguese, you wanna learn Swedish, you wanna learn those ones. They will help the community to find those kind of characteristics in our small community. And we will be having a monthly potluck for the whole community. Everybody is able to join and bring a dish from whatever origin they are from, so to bring it and share it with their community. And we will have also two celebrations for Eid celebration, where are really important. The fasting, after the fasting month, which is, I think it's gonna be the first day in March this year. So by the end of March, we will be having our first celebration. So, and we will have another celebration, which is the Sacrifice Day, which is going to be in June, 2 months and 10 days later on. So that's mostly the activities we are planning to do. Doesn't go? Okay, so to be brief, those ones are some examples of some structure of Islamic centers. Like this one, it's in Islamic in mosque in Henin Larsen. We have the one in the middle, it's from Winnipeg. And we have this one, it's from, they are Canadian mosque from Nova Scotia, etc. So they have a kind of a unique structure building, where we would like to see to bring value to their neighborhood. Because when you have a structure and architecture which is kind unique, it does bring a developed asset to that local community. And we were looking to bring, to have a green building, environmental friendly, energy sufficient. So we would like to, we'll be looking for some kind of ideal building where the community will thrive. So, yes, so this one we said we may do it in 3 years plan. The first year we will be doing the draft and the design of the building, which is gonna be our biggest challenge, to have who's gonna do it and how they gonna do it, and it will be up to code. And we will get some construction code, and we will have some permit and licenses, what we can do, how much we can expand, etc. So those kind of things, we will be looking for them. We will be approving the design, so by the city and by our community. So it has to be approved design that will be fitting within the Portage la Prairie development plan. So that's something that will add to the beauty of the town. Just really integrated and bring in more highlight. So I want to see that building. So yeah, that's really another asset of Portage la Prairie, where we can thrive and show. And we will be looking for source of funding, how to support the project. That's first year that will be mostly planning for fundraising, planning for how to get everything. So it's homework. Next year, it's gonna be more like doing. I hope so. I hope we can, that's not a short plan, but that's what we are hoping to. And we will continue funding. So we will be looking more fundraising campaigns, events, etc. So we are thinking about more a smart funding, not just funding by need. So just more kind of, no, I need your money. No, it's not just I need your money, but you can get my stuff and can get funding. So just kind of, we are building, so somebody will be financing 1 square foot of this building, which is whatever it costs, they said that person will be covering that one. And we are hoping in year 3, which is gonna be 2028, starting activities and opening. And in the meantime, we are in discussion with the art center to use it to start developing programs so the transition will be kind of smooth once we have our place. And I think, thank you so much.
Thank
Have Any
you.
question? I'm here.
you. Does anyone have any questions? Councillor Porter?
Where are you having your prayers anywhere? Have you found a place, or you're using Fusion? Or is that?
We are using right now Trinity Church. We are paying a monthly kind of usage, but we are in discussion to be using the art center, the Fusion Center, for more prayer time, etc., and kind of more access to the place. So that's something that because they have more organization where we can also organize food and have. We will be doing some kind of suppers for fundraising, and it will work very well for us if we can have that place and have different themes where we can sell food ticket to fundraise.
Okay, and so is it working right now with all the different times that you do your prayers? Because that's what I kind of understood it. It's not the same time every day, it's just different times?
What the prayer, there are different times, but mostly in Trinity Church, we are doing only Fridays at lunch 1:15, which is kind of a little bit after the real time of the prayer. That's all it's mostly what it's happening right now. Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you. I know I'm grateful for you bringing this together and bringing it to our attention too, and inviting us to the last meeting to sort of make us aware of it, and then moving forward with this. And I wish you all the best. Sounds like you have a great start to a plan.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate your help, and thank you so much. And it's one of kind of the wishes that you wish to come through, but we are starting it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will open public hearing for request for variation PC 1-25, priority permits limited, Park Avenue equities for 211 Saskatchewan Avenue West. I'll ask if there is anyone here to speak in favor of this variation request. Again, anyone here to speak in favor? I'll ask if there are any letters to read out in favor. No. I'll ask if anyone is here to speak against this variation request. Again, anyone to speak against this variation request? Does council have any questions before we close the public hearing? No. And I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing. Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Your Worship. Be it resolved, and I so move that the public hearing for variation PC 125, Priority Permits Limited, and Park Avenue Equities Limited at 211 Saskatchewan Avenue now be closed.
Moved by Councillor Meyer, seconded by Councillor Nichols. All those in favor? And that is carried. So, Councillor Meyer.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. And Council, in front of you, you'll have the report to Council. In addition to that, you'll actually have a drawing, as you can see up on the screen, and you can see the location schedule there as well. So what it is about is just a request for variation, again, for PC 125, and it's to really just to vary the maximum height requirement of a large freestanding sign from 7.5 meters to be increased to 9 meters. So you're looking at about 4.5 feet higher than what the current bylaw allows. The alternatives, of course, you can approve it or deny it. The background is they are applying for variation order to vary the height, maximum height requirement of a large freestanding sign from, again, 7.5 meters to be increased to 9 meters. The building is in a C3 Avenue commercial zone. And of course, the application has been circulated to various city departments. There have been no concerns. And public notices were sent to all property owners within the 100-meter radius. And as you can see, there have been no objections. With that said, and I so move that the administrative recommendation is that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie approve the variation request of Priority Permits Limited, Park Avenue Equities Limited, to vary the maximum height requirement of a large freestanding sign from 7.5 meters to be increased to 9 meters at the property known as 211 Saskatchewan Avenue West, which is legally described as Lot A, Plan 73713 in the parish of Portage la Prairie.
Moved by Councillor Meyer, seconded by Councillor Nichols. Any questions or comments from council? Pretty straightforward. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Okay, Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee, Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Worship. Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee has no report this evening.
Thank you. City Planning and Economic Development Committee, Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Worship. City Planning and Economic Development Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. Community Services Committee, Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Worship. The Community Services Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. Waterworks Committee, Councillor Nichols.
Thank you, Your Worship. Waterworks Committee has nothing to report this evening.
Thank you. Transportation Committee, Councillor Porter.
Thank you, Your Worship. Transportation Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. And Public Safety Committee, Councillor Doyle.
Thank you, Your Worship. Public Safety Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. We have no items of deferred business. We'll move right into new business. We have the Ready to Move Childcare Project Audited Statement of Actual Costs, and this is Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee, Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Worship and colleagues. Before you, you have the issue of having to approve the audited statement of actual costs for the Ready to Move Childcare Project. You may recall in 2022, City Administration engaged in discussions with the rural municipality of Portage la Prairie to partner with John Q. Public on a pilot project focused on increasing or creating additional childcare spaces. The initiative aimed to develop a replicable process that would strengthen community capacity in Manitoba, addressing the growing need for childcare infrastructure. So as part of this effort, a financial assistance agreement was established with the province of Manitoba through its early learning and childcare program, and the agreement provided capital funding for the construction of a facility to create 74 childcare spaces. The province contributed $4 million of capital funding grant for this project, and in return, the city provided serviced land for the facility, assumed ownership of the building, and committed to maintaining both the building and grounds for 15 years. In order to fulfill the agreement's requirement for an audited statement of actual costs, the city engaged BDO Canada to perform the audit, and the final audited statement, along with all corresponding notes, have been provided for Council's review and approval. The statement of actual costs outlines the total expenses related to the construction of the facility as well as the funding sources. And there you have the breakdown. $4 million, I mentioned, was the provincial grant. $22,900 was interest earned on the provincial grant, and the city contribution was $197,000. The city's contribution covers the cost of the land, expenses related to servicing, site assessments, surveyor fees, legal and audit costs. And as you know, city is GST exempt and reimbursed for these costs. The total project cost, excluding GST, amounts to $4.2 million. There a surplus of approximately $17,200 will be allocated for future maintenance costs associated with the facility. And upon Council's approval, the audited statement of actual costs will be submitted to the province of Manitoba as required for this agreement. And therefore, the administrative recommendation, and I would so move that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie approve the audited statement of actual costs for the Ready to Move Childcare Project.
Moved by Councillor Massey, seconded by Councillor Meyer. Any questions or comments from anyone? No? All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Next item of new business is the 2024 Solid Waste Annual Report from the Transportation Committee, Councillor Porter.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is for information only, and it is the presentation of the 2024 Solid Waste Annual Report. The city funds and operates several solid waste programs, including the residential solid waste collection, curbside recycling, curbside yard waste collection, a compost site, a tree burning site, and hazardous household waste disposal, electronic waste disposal, and the clean team. 998,640 kilograms, or approximately 75 kilograms per person, of residential recycled waste material was diverted from the landfill. The curbside yard waste program saw approximately 12,799 bags, which equals to 77,214 kilograms of compostable yard waste being picked up in May and October. This is down from 17,736 bags, which is 106,997 kilograms in 2023. During the Christmas tree pickup program, a total of 60 trees, which is approximately 218 kilograms, were recycled, and approximately 192,218 kilograms of tree waste was taken to the burn site throughout the year. The Portage and District Recycling, Inc. accepts all designated household hazardous waste and e-waste. The total of all residential solid waste, including garbage, recyclables, yard waste, trees for 2024 was 5,268 tons, with 1,628 tons of that being diverted from the landfill. The diversion rate for the residential solid waste was 30.9%. So attached to this is a report that you will see. It's a monthly report of the year of 2024 for each month of the waste collection, the recyclables, the yard waste, the trees, and what's been diverted. And probably of most significance would be October, which was the most amount of recyclables that were recycled was in October, which is the high point of 89,273. Yard waste was also October, was the high of 81,544, and the percent of those that were diverted in October was 36.79. I find it interesting that I'm not sure that, I guess the only comment I have from this is they say it's down from 17,736 bags from 2023, but then again, we had probably a longer season this year in October, like for the compostable yard waste, because we actually didn't get any snow till sometime in November, so that might account for the difference. And so that is what I have to report. So if anybody has any questions, comments.
Thank you. I do have a question for administration, and maybe I've missed it in previous years. What's the clean team?
So the clean team, actually, I'm not sure what year we started, but it is usually high school students. So they just work July and August, and they get them out, like cleaning up garbage and just general cleanup around the city.
Thank you. If nothing else, thank you, Councillor Porter. Oh,
Sorry, I just meant to mention there that the diversion rate was also down this year compared to last year. And I'm not sure what that's for, but and why it's down, but I just want to encourage people to recycle and to divert their garbage away from the landfill. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item of new business, the annual request for service database report. Councillor Porter.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. This is the annual request for service database report, and this is also for information only. I believe these are what you call your service requests that you do online on our city site, and so what this is, what it concerns, and these are the concerns and requests for service that are entered into the City Works database. They are submitted to the appropriate department, dispatched for action, and then completed and closed. Should there be a subsequent calls regarding reported complaints or concerns, this system allows all staff to see if there's a problem, to see if a problem has already been reported and if it can be resolved and what stage it is at and when the completion can be expected. So there's 3,913 calls that were logged in 2024, and there is a chart here below that summarizes the following table, and it's also there is 2023 data is provided for the comparison in this table. Of most interest, we'll just talk about what's increased this year compared to last. 208 as the animal loose on the street was 218 this year compared to 146 last year. Clogged drain, frozen drain, call for request, that was a total of 154 for 2024 versus 76 from 2023. What's down this year is the dead animals. For last year for 21 in 2023, and this year 13. The other significant one is the garbage not picked up. So in 2023, there was 58 service requests, and this year was 145. Another couple I'd like to point out would be the general animal complaint. It's up to 112 this year versus 68 last year. The grass cutting complaints bylaw, 660 this year versus 401 last year. And I believe there's just one more I just would like to point out. It's quite interesting if you want to look at the comparisons. Unsightly property, up to 551 complaints this year versus 287 from 2023. So there was an increase in number of people using the service request function at the city's website from 266 in 2023 to 305 in 2024. Issues such as potholes, animals running at large, illegally parked vehicle, or downed tree can easily be reported, and requests for services such as snow removal or street sanding can quickly be made from a smartphone or a computer. So I guess what they're saying, rather than complain about it, report it. The more eyes, and you as a community members here, you're the eyes of the community, or you're their extra eyes, and reporting it is very much appreciated. So please check on our website when you see something that you think is dangerous or something that is out of place or needs to get looked at. So we appreciate, it's not a bother at all. And I just have one question for administration. Other than that, that's my report, and it is for information only. But when somebody does do a service request, do they get an acknowledgement or back to say that somebody has looked at it or they've seen it, or how do they know that it's actually gone to the city? That's my question.
Through your worship to Councillor Porter, there's two ways you can do it. If they specifically ask a follow-up, staff will endeavor to follow up with them. Often when staff are calling back concerns, it's usually when they needed more information. But typically, most concerns are brought forward, staff deal with it, and there is no follow-up with the person bringing forward the concern.
Okay, thank you. That's what I needed to know. And the other thing is, if it's something really dangerous, I guess the best number would be to call the emergency line, or if there's something very serious happening, that they shouldn't just put a service request and phone the operations department or phone the emergency department, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
I could answer that one, Nathan.
Yeah. And that is my report. If anybody has any questions or comments.
Councillor Doyle?
Thank you, Your Worship. There has been a pretty stark increase in the number of requests for service calls, and I don't see this as a bad thing.
That's right.
Because I think the communication from our council and the communication from City Hall and our administration as to where to go to request this service, I think that's been communicated quite well. And also, it might be the optimist in me, but I think that I can see a shift of people starting to take more pride in the city. And so the unsightly yards, the unsightly properties, that is up 50%. And I just think that is people having a little more pride in their neighborhoods. So I just wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. My comments were going to be that this is a good news report for me, because there's a couple of things. It shows that people are using our system. And, and I think too, thank you to all of council that, where we often get people calling us, texting us, messaging us, and we're trying to direct them the right way, like to use this system, because that's what it's there for. Also, just the fact of the numbers are up for unsightly properties, etc., but it shows that people are reporting because they understand that something's going to get done about it, right? They're not apathetic, and they're, okay, I'm going to let people know because something's going to get done about it. So a kudos to our bylaw too, right? We have to give them, a lot of these fall under that, and so that we know that things are being followed up on. So very good news. And the other couple of things are great too in this report, and this is why we have these reports, is we're going to have a garbage contract come up soon, but seeing that there's concerns from the public on a regular helps us make decisions coming up. And also when we've invested in our road repair, seeing that our pothole people talking about potholes has gone up, so we're investing the money in the right places. So this is a great report, and I thank whoever put it together. Thank you. Okay, no items of old business. We'll adjourn council at 6:34 p.m. and we'll move right into committee. Call committee order at 6:34 p.m. Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee, Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Worship. Colleagues, I have one report and then a question for administration. My report has to do with the Portage District Hospital Foundation. First of all, I want to thank Council for appointing me to that. It's actually an exciting time to be on that board as in terms of our new hospital coming. I've had the privilege of attending, I think for the first time, a strategic planning exercise by the foundation and one board meeting. And I can tell you a couple of things. We don't have the report yet from the strategic plan, but one of the things I think we'll be looking at is sort of the whole rebranding, looking how with the new hospital, what the needs are, because they are going to be different from, the old hospital, and maybe taking a broader view of community health to determine what is the best way forward for the foundation. So you may be hearing, and as I get more information, I'll certainly be passing it on to council, but kind of looking at, with the new hospital now, what is the role of the foundation and how do we fit into the needs there? We're anticipating prior to spring a list of projects and equipment the foundation can fund for the new hospital, so that one will be our first list with the new hospital. And we'll be preparing for potential need to ramp up fundraising as projects and equipment are determined. It's going to be looking, but it is an exciting time. We have a beautiful new hospital, but just where do we fit now as a foundation with respect to the new hospital? Because certainly there's going to be a lot of new stuff in there. So where is the need there that we can fit in? I can say that being on the board, there's some excellent people on that board, and we have an excellent executive director. So I was pleased to be there, and I was very honored to be elected chair of the board. So hopefully I can lead that board in a positive way. But I really feel humbled by the board appointing me to be chairing so soon after I got appointed. But I'm very excited. But the goal still remains: how can we enhance, maintain, and enrich the health quality here in Portage la Prairie? So you'll be hearing a lot more from me about the foundation. But again, thank you to council for appointing me to that. Question for administration. You know, there's a lot of talk about the tariffs and all the changes, and it seems like hour by hour, Canada is facing some big changes potentially on tariffs from the United States. I'd like to ask administration if you've looked into our procurement policy, how this might be impacted by the potential tariffs. I know it's tough because we don't have a lot of answers yet, but have you looked at how tariffs may impact our purchasing procurement policies, particularly as it relates to, you know, buying Canadian, potentially more Canadian products and so on? Just any information administration can share on that.
Through your worship to Councillor Massey, you're right. There's ever constantly shifting sands in the procurement world and in the international trade. So we have not been sitting on our hands, and we've been thinking proactively how to protect the organization's interest as we purchase a lot of different materials, and a lot of them do come from outside of Canada. So in terms of our procurement policy, we're investigating how to ensure that we can find secure domestic product lines for the products we use in our day-to-day use, whether that be from our utilities or our operations department. So what I can say is that we're working closely with other municipalities and looking at options on ensuring that we can buy domestically for a lot of our essential products. There's a lot of buying groups. That means groups of municipalities that buy products together, and there are ways to secure domestic product supply that can work for us. So we are investigating that and looking at how we can do that within our procurement policy. In terms of protecting the organization financially, because obviously tariffs drive up the cost for everybody, we are working very actively right now to advance a lot of our capital purchasing schedules. So if we know we're going to need a product this year, we're working to purchase it quickly before any potential impacts come through the supply chain. We're also taking a look at products that we know are in our critical service areas and making sure we have spares. So credit to all of our departments, because all of our departments kind of handle their procurement. We don't have a central procurement officer. And we've been thinking down the road, not only what do we need now, but what we could potentially need in those critical areas for spares. So we've been working proactively, I should say. And then finally, you know, we're having a really good discussion with our partners in the chamber and local business community about maybe there are some product chains and product supplies that we can find even locally that can, you know, we can see how these tariffs could affect us locally and how we can procure more locally through this policy, but also in line with our policy.
Thank you, and I appreciate the answer because you've obviously started in anticipation of potential what might be happening. But yeah, I think this is something administration should really stay on top of, and I know it's tough with the changing world every hour by the hour with the Americans, but thank you for your answer.
If I may, Your Worship, I'll just add one more comment that we do have a procurement policy that is ultimately approved by Council. Council should anticipate that coming back to this Council table in the future to make some adjustments to make some of the actions I mentioned a little bit smoother for the organization.
Thank you. And just to follow up on that too, I attended the breakfast that MP Brandon Leslie put on in partnership with the chamber. And I think it is good that we're working closely with our chamber. One of the things that we really talked about was the misinformation out there when, you know, we talk about shopping locally and buying Canadian, et cetera. What does that really mean for people? And so I think we as a city can also help with putting that information out so that people are really aware of what's going on if and when it happens. So, Thank you. Okay, City Planning and Economic Development Committee, Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have just one item underneath City Planning and Economic Development Committee, and I'm going to defer that to my colleague, Councillor Massey, who represents the Chamber Board for the City of Portage la Prairie. Mr. Massey.
Thank you, Councillor Meyer. Colleagues, just a quick update. I did attend the Chamber board meeting, the full board meeting that I think they have every 2 or 3 months. This is in addition to the monthly meetings the mayor and the city manager and I have with the Chamber. I basically talked about one thing, and that was the budget. It was right after we had our budget, and certainly gave them an overview. They are going to be preparing an update, or not an update, a response to our budget, which we will hopefully get soon, and we'll be able to see the Chamber's reaction. But a couple of quick comments. They were certainly happy with the increase in the CSO officers, 2 additional officers. And I think some comment about the road doubling of the road budget. But of course, a lot of questions about the water treatment plant, which we've already started with the open house. But and I told them that it would be a very open, transparent process throughout the water treatment process. But it was good opportunity to talk to the full board about our budget, which I think was a good news budget from my perspective. So I hopefully we'll see what their response is. But that's my report, Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Councillor Massey, and again, I can't stress enough the Chamber, the work that they do, and I'm just so proud of this council and the support that they give them, especially you spending your time on that board on a somewhat regular basis. So thank you, Councillor Massey. That said, that is the end of my report.
Thank you. Community Services Committee, Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Your Worship. There's a couple of items on my report for the evening. The first one comes up for a vote at the next council meeting, and that is the appointment of municipal noxious weeds inspector and sub-inspectors. As we know, this is an annual requirement that must be done by March 1st, and the intention is to appoint Adam Carpenter, Public Works Supervisor, as the city's inspector for 2025, and Kyle Troop and Lionel Brown as sub-inspectors. If there are no questions on that, I will move on.
Any questions? Thank you, Councillor Espy. Still yours.
And the next item is related to our delegation from this evening, and that is the Memorandum of Understanding with the Islamic Association of Portage. So they made a nice proposal tonight. The one thing that is missing is land. So administration has been approached by the members of the local Islamic Association who are interested in creating a space for cultural, social, and recreational activities that will be available for all residents to use. Administration is proposing providing the land for this facility, being Roll 197050, for the sum of $1, to be held for a period of 3 years to allow for the design and construction of the facility by the association. The association will be responsible for obtaining appropriate permits, funding, utilities, and day-to-day operation of the facility when constructed. The land being proposed is outlined on the sketch below. And for those that don't have the sketch, it is the piece of property directly to the west of the BDO Center for the Community. By constructing this facility, the association aims to foster inclusivity and collaboration among the community by creating a sustainable facility for all to enjoy. And again, this is coming up for discussion and vote at the next council meeting. And attached to the report is the actual MOU that has been proposed.
Thank you. Any questions on that? No? Great. Councillor Espy.
And that concludes my report.
Perfect. Just under the community services is today we did a flag raising for the Métis, for the Red River Métis for Louis Riel Day celebrations happening, and they're coming up on Monday, and it starts with Louis Riel Day celebrations at the MNP, which is from, I believe, starts at noon and goes till about 3 or so. Lots of entertainment, lots of fun activities. And then there is a first time ever a hockey game happening, the Terriers versus Selkirk, the 2 largest Métis communities in Manitoba, with their citizen numbers, and so they decided to have a friendly rivalry, and so that game will be happening. There's jerseys you can bid on, etc. So we wish them the best day and hopefully see everybody there celebrating. Excellent. So, Waterworks Committee, Councillor Nichols.
Thank you, Worship. I'd like to take a little time to thank each and every one of us around this table and some others as well. We last Thursday we had a very successful evening, and what it was our water treatment plant upgrade open house. Madam Mayor was there, colleagues, my council colleagues were there, administration, Carly Friesen, and Stantec, our design crew, were there as well, and some consultants. Dale Lyle was there, and I found it. I just want to thank everyone. It was a very informative evening. Stantec did a wonderful job in laying out, where we are now, where we want to be, what it may cost to get there, some of the reasons that we're going there, and how we're doing it. And the information that they had was well displayed, and there was a lot of good questions came up. We also had the RM there, some industries, a number of residents, which was really nice to see. And it was a learning evening. It was and as Councillor Massey's alluded to, this is something we want people to understand of what we need going forward for the future of Portage and our water treatment plant. So thank you. Thank you for all those that attended. There's also going to be information. If it isn't already on our website, it will be. And the media is also very good in covering where we're at, what we're doing, and our forward piece of where we need to go. So I just want to take the time to thank everyone that was involved in that and making that happen. We had some coffee there, and I must say that we had 2 jugs of water that was completely gone by the end of the night because it is the best tasting water in Western Canada. So thank you, Worship, and thank you everyone that was involved in that evening. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Councillor Nichols. Transportation Committee, Councillor Porter.
Thank you, Your Worship. Transportation has nothing to report. I just have a question in regards to snow clearing, and I was just wondering if administration could add a comment of how the snow clearing is going on the in amongst the community, as well as if you're having any challenges, or what is your biggest challenge that you're facing at this point at this time of year?
Yeah, so we were able to get all of Saskatchewan Avenue cleared with Manitoba Transportation, who did a really good job. There is still, because of the way that the snow melted and froze, there's still going to be a little bit of ice that is very difficult to get right down to pavement. Like I had mentioned other times, that you end up damaging your pavement if you get it right down. So we're going to leave that little bit of ice there, but we'll make sure to put sand on it to keep it from being too slippery. We had planned to start clearing some other streets starting at Royal Road today, though our biggest issue is we've been having some equipment breakdowns. So we plan to purchase 2 new trucks this year. We have tenders out. Our trucks that we're having now are getting older and have been giving us some issues, but we plan to rent some equipment from some local contractors to get started tomorrow. So that has been a little bit of a challenge, but we've been definitely being helped by the minimal amount of snow over the last few days at least, and the rest of the week is looking good for that. So we should be in good shape.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. I know many people appreciated all that cleanup being done before we had all the Viterra curling visitors in town, so that was great. Okay, Public Safety Committee, Councillor Doyle.
Thank you, Your Worship. Public Safety Committee has nothing to report this evening.
Thank you. Before we adjourn, just a couple of things. For those who don't know, Thursday, February 13th, is the City of Portage 118th birthday. So have a piece of cake or a cupcake and wish us well. And then also just starting tomorrow morning, we as a council, part of our strategic direction was being a more informed community. And so we're starting our after the council meeting sessions on Portage or on the radio, I guess. I don't even know what station, but we're going to start probably on all stations. It'll end up being our local stations. So I'm starting tomorrow, and then we're going to rotate through all of our counselors so that we can hear from everybody about what happens in our great council meetings. So we hope that our community appreciates hearing from each and every one. If nothing else, we'll adjourn committee at 6:51 p.m.